guys, welcome! In this video, we'll talk about how to efficiently farm with the Sage and Professor class in order to level up to the Sorcerer 3rd job in no time. We'll discuss the most important stats, skills, runes, equipment, cards, and tips needed to maximize the farming capabilities of the Sage and Professor class. Hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding on how to level up faster to the Sorcerer 3rd job. Before we begin, let's quickly choose which build to use. For the Sage, there are two possible farming builds. For this video, we'll refer to them as either the Bolter build or the Auto Attack build. The Bolter build makes use of bolts to one-hit kill the mobs, whereas the Auto Attack build banks on high attack speed to trigger auto spell, which will then trigger bolts. I've tested the EXP gain of the two builds. Under the same circumstances at the same solo spot in under 5 minutes, Maven gained 748,436 job EXP using the Bolter build with a one-hit kill level 4 Firebolt. On the other hand, with the Auto Attack build at max attack speed, she only gained 496,614 job experience. That's 33% less experience versus the Bolter build. This because as a Sage or Professor, if we rely on Auto Attack, we only have a 15% chance to trigger our bolts from level 20 Auto Spell and its runes. However, as we transition into a Sorcerer, we'll have the Magic Fist skill wherein we'll have a 100% chance to auto-cast our bolts. Thus, personally, I think the Auto Attack build will be more efficient once we become Sorcerers. In this video, we'll focus on the Bolter build, which is much simpler and straightforward but much more effective for the Sage and Professor class in terms of fast leveling up. Alright, without further ado, let's begin. Let's first start with the stat build. The most important stat to pump first is Intelligence, as this increases our magic attack needed to one-hit mobs using a lower level bolt. Then allot points on Dexterity to reduce variable cast time. Next, let's discuss the most important skills to get. Again, the Bolter build is pretty straightforward and we only need a few core skills. For the Mage skills, you should allocate points on Level 4 Firebolt, since level 4 can be built to have no cast time. This will be our main farming skill against earth element monsters. If you're a little short on magic power, you may increase your Firebolt level, but of course at the expense of cast time. And then unlock level 10 increase spiritual recovery. The rest of the points is up to you. You may unlock the rest of the balls if you'll be farming other element monsters. For the Sage skills, you may get level 5 energy coat for additional magic damage, and level 10 upgrade book to increase magic attack if you choose book type weapons. The rest of the points is up to you. For the Professor skills, you should prioritize getting level 5 quick casting to reduce variable cast time and increase SP regen, and level 10 mental agitation since its breakthrough will increase magic penetration. Again, you are free to allot the remaining skill points whichever way you like. Once you've reached job breakthrough, you may allocate additional skill points on the following: Level 15 Mental Agitation to increase magic penetration, Level 10 Energy Code for added Ignore MDef, and Level 20 Upgrade Book if you are using a book as a weapon. Those are the only essential breakthrough skills for this build. You are free to allot the rest of the points whichever way you like. Now let's go to runes. This build will focus primarily on Firebolt, as that is a bolt which we can insta-cast and thus will allow us to farm more efficiently. For this build, we would need the following: Fire Damage, Firebolt Proficient to reduce cast delay, Firebolt Quick Cast to reduce a fixed cast time, and Element Concentration to increase the Firebolt damage. Then allot the remaining contribution points on nearby magic attack nodes. Take note that this rune map only includes those that can increase our farming efficiency using Firebolt. Feel free to experiment and modify your runes based on your playstyle and personal preference. Up next, let's dive into the equipment and card set that you need. For weapons, Sages can equip either a book or a staff. If you're coming from the Wizard class, you may still use your plus 10 Wizardry staff. It boosts Ignore MDef, which is beneficial in grinding, as most high-level mobs have high MDef. Another option is the Sage Diary. It increases magic attack, int, equipment attack speed, and the chance to trigger auto spell. If you'll be a Sorcerer main, this is a good weapon to invest in, as its features are mainly for the Auto Attack build, which we'll use primarily as a Sorcerer. A high refinement level is required, as every refine plus 1 increases the chance to trigger auto spell by 0.3%. In addition, it will give higher attack speed and magic damage if upgraded to max tier and refined to plus 12. As for weapon cards, it will depend on the monster you're farming. Keep in mind that only race cards affect magic damage, so use Hydra card when grinding Orc Ladies which are of demi-human race, or Goblin card when farming Marmots which are of brute race. For the offhand, you may use a plus 10 telekinetic orb, especially if you're using Sage Diary as your weapon. This because of their set effect which increases the damage of elemental bolts by 15%. In addition, telekinetic orb boosts attack speed by 10% plus another 1% for each refinement at tier 4. However, if you're facing high MDef mobs, you may opt to use the Sacrifice Book. Upgrading it to tier 4 is highly suggested as it increases magic attack by 0.5 points for every 1% ignore MDef. This best paired with a Wizardry Staff. Next, for the armor, similar to wizards, you may use a plus 10 or a plus 15 Robe of Cast. As for the armor cards, you may use a Munich Star card for ignore MDef or Aghav card for additional magic attack. Up next, for the garment, any garment with an arcane enchantment is recommended to boost your magic damage output. For foot gears, plus 12 crystal pumps tier 4 would be the best option for a higher magic attack and to activate a set effect with the Wizardry Staff, Robe of Cast, and Eye of the Lahan. But you may also equip other foot gears that have Arcane 4 or free enchant. For accessories, you may use a plus 10 or above Eye of the Lahan and Orleans gloves. As for accessory cards, you may inlay a Zipper Bear Star card for plus 3% magic attack. However, if you're farming specific mobs, you may switch to racial modifying cards such as the Ultraman card if you're going against brute or demon monsters. Lastly, for the headgears, these are the recommended items. For the head, we have the Quaff or Nidhogg's Poison Fang. For the headwear cards, you may use a Sealed Apocalypse card. For the face, we have the Monocle or the Dancing Flame. For the mouth, we have the Night Sakura Infatuation for Ignore MDef, Concert Invitation for extra base and job EXP, and Dusk Veil for additional magic attack and job EXP. For the back, we have the Devil Wing or the plus 6 Bright Light for magic damage, or the blue Islet Sea for the magic attack and job EXP. And lastly, for the tail, we have the plus 6 Flower Pistol, the Windperch Drake, or the Golden March. As for pets, you may choose either the Sohi or the Harpy for additional magic attack. Lastly, here are some tips you need to take note of when farming. Tip number 1. Since we're primarily using Firebolt, you need to target Earth element monsters, such as the G-Earth, Mantis, Green Petite, and Sting for lower levels, and the Orc Lady, Marmot, and Geographer for higher levels. Tip number 2. To boost your magic damage, you may use race cards depending on the mobs you choose to farm. An example would be the Hydra card for the Orc Lady, the Ultraman card and Goblin card for the Marmot, and the Scorpion card for the Geographer. Tip number 3. Use items that increase job EXP for faster leveling up, such as the Pouring Growth Panacea and Purico Drink. You may also consider swapping some of your equipment for Saint items which give bonus EXP, provided that you still have enough firepower to one-hit the mobs you're farming. Examples are the Light Saint Shield, Light Saint Cape, and Light Saint Armor, which in total can give 30% bonus EXP. Tip number 4. To boost damage, you may eat cooked foods that increase magic attack, such as the original Will Juice, which also gives magic penetration. Tip number 5, and for my last and final tip, you need to invest in your raw magic attack, which I have talked in one of my previous videos. If you haven't watched that yet, I have the video linked down below. Having a huge magic attack will definitely synergize with your skills, runes, cards, and equipment to further enhance your damage. And there we have it. With this build, I was able to farm my Sage up to a Sorcerer, which now unlocks warrior skills including Magic Fist. This skill would make our Sorcerers farm more effectively. Stay tuned for my upcoming video where I'll be tackling the Sorcerer auto attack build. Alright, so far we discussed the most recommended stats, skills, runes, equipment, cards, pets, and farming tips for your Sage to become a Sorcerer in no time. I hope this guide was helpful in setting up the foundation for your character. Alright, that's it for this video guys. Don't forget to like if you enjoyed watching this guide. If you're new here, I would love for you to consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below. I would love to have you back. Thank you for watching and see you in our next episode.